If you want to market your product in Vietnam, in many cases you will need a QCVN certification to do so. As in other Asian countries, the Vietnamese certification system is constantly developing. And at the moment, this just means that more and more products will have to be certified. In total, hundreds of mechanical and electrical components for various industrial applications are currently affected by this certification. In the automotive industry alone, lights, mirrors, tires, rims, interior trimming, safety glass, and fuel tanks all require QCVN certification. So if I'm a manufacturer of one of these products and I want to import them into Vietnam, what do I have to plan for? I will tell you all of that in this video. The QCVN certification process is similar to the Chinese CCC or Indian BIS certification. First, there is the application, which is followed by the factory inspection. And after the factory inspection, your product will have to be tested in Vietnam. Only in the marking requirement does QCVN differ from the others. But here I have very good news for you. In QCVN certification, your products do not have to be marked. So that means for future import of your products, it is then sufficient to attach just a copy of the certificate to the delivery documents. One important factor, however, in your planning for QCVN certification is the fact that all application documents must be translated into Vietnamese. Now, I don't know how often in the past you were asked to translate anything into Vietnamese, but in case you haven't, I have good news for you. Our office in Tu Dau Mot, Vietnam will of course be happy to translate your documents for you. Now, any official or legal documents, such as your business license, will also need to be legalized. Fortunately, though, we can also take care of that in Vietnam. By the way, for both translation and legalization, scans of the required documents are sufficient. Even for the legalization, the original documents are, in most cases, not required in Vietnam. Of course, some exceptions are always reserved. All right, no matter how you end up having the documents translated and legalized, once they are ready, you must submit them to the Vietnam Register, or VR for short, for your application to be processed. After document submission, then, as in the other Asian certifications mentioned, the first thing that is ordered is a factory inspection. This factory inspection must be carried out by Vietnamese officials and can take more than 1 day, depending on the size of your factory. Now, the inspection itself will of course be similar to other usual inspections. But as the officials only know English in the very best cases, you may need a translator. And we can of course provide this as well if you wish. In any case, after the inspection, you then have to send samples to Vietnam for product testing. But here I also have good news. You do not have to send these test samples separately, but can directly import your entire delivery plus the requested test samples. Because the QCVN test application is already sufficient for customs. Now, when you do that, please inform your certification agent of the import date so that they can collect the test samples for the laboratory from customs in good time. As the Vietnam Register also does not have a warehouse itself, you will need a local partner to take care of the logistics anyway. However, with this method, you naturally save yourself high transport costs and additional customs fees. Now, once the tests are then completed, we, if you carry out the certification with us, or your certification agent will receive the test samples back from the laboratory. Depending on your wishes, we or your agent can then send them back to you or have them destroyed. Also, after completing the tests, you'll receive the certificate usually within 2 to 3 weeks, which, given that there is no marking, completes the certification process. Now, one short comment on the duration of this whole process. Now, the planning of the inspection and the delivery of the test samples naturally take the longest time of it all. But if these can be done relatively easily, the entire process could finish within 2 months. Ultimately, however, this of course depends on you, as well as any potential travel restrictions. Okay, let's move on to the costs. You can probably already imagine from the explanations so far what the biggest cost factors are. Now, that would clearly be the factory inspection, including the travel costs for usually 2 auditors. If you would also like us to provide an interpreter to you, you will of course have to pay these costs as well. The total costs for the audit could therefore amount to a few thousand USD. For the rest of the costs, however, I can reassure you, the administrative fees are in the low 3-digit range, and the test costs are also very favorable by international standards. And the translation of your documents would also cost far less with us than with the translator in the UK or the US, for example. Since the documents are the same in every certification case, and we know the requirements of the authorities exactly, translation of the documents is absolutely routine work for us. All in all, you should expect a mid-4-figure sum in total costs. Of course, the final cost depends always on many different factors, such as the location of your factory, the type and quantity of products to be certified, and the extent of your internal documentation. So I can't give you exact numbers in this video, but I hope with this rough estimation you already have an idea that you can plan with. Finally, I would like to add that like almost any other certification, the QCVN certification has a time-limited validity. In order to maintain the validity, follow-up factory inspections must take place at regular intervals. How long these intervals are in individual cases depends on the type of product. On average, however, the certificates are valid for between 2 and 5 years. Alright, that's all for today about QCVN certification. I hope that this information helps you in your preparation for your certification. And of course, as always, feel free to ask us any questions you may have. You can find the relevant contact forms on our website. Thank you for your attention. Take care.